Sagittarius, your love card is the Fool, which seems to suggest you'll have some new experiences in love, and this could be motivated by renewed confidence in yourself, in life, and also some experiences you may not be altogether prepared for. It's a year where you may connect with someone from your past, or you could meet someone new, and this person may play a very significant role in your destiny. You'll certainly be introducing yourself, perhaps maybe doing some traveling, and that may prove important. You'll be taking a leap of faith and maybe going out on a limb for yourself or for another person, taking some kind of gamble. Now, for some of you, your approach to love may be very lighthearted, free-spirited, where you just go with the flow of the relationship. You let it unfold as it will. Maybe you don't really want commitment. You might prefer just to date, or maybe you want to just get to know prospective partners until you're actually ready for something deeper. Maybe you don't want commitment. Maybe you just feel liberated from the care or the worries that come with trying to please another person. On the other hand, it may be that you're involved with someone who's not fully committed, and the relationship may feel more like a cliffhanger than anything else. Some of you may be dating someone younger or very childlike in spirit, and that's in the best possible way. Or maybe you're younger than the partner, or you're involved with someone that may be against type, or certainly against experiences that you've had in the past, something very different. For some of you, maybe children are a consideration in the relationship. You may not know exactly where your relationship is headed, but you're just trusting your instincts. You're letting intuition guide you. In some instances, an encounter or a connection could be spontaneous, or you just jump into the situation without giving a lot of forethought to the consequences. Now, there are some of you that you're in a relationship and you're searching for the exit ramp, or maybe you've gone through a breakup and now you're ready to let go of the past. You want to start something fresh, something new. So some of you could be healing from heartbreak. But there's a part of you that's also excited. You're excited about moving on, maybe toward a brand new life or a new relationship. And if you're already involved with somebody, either of you may be shaking things up a little bit. Maybe you're going to breathe some new life into your connection. The challenge this year is in taking foolish risks, being gullible to the wrong influence, being naive, or just losing your mind and letting that lead you in the wrong direction. Now, perhaps you decide to just go with it. You hope that everything will work out fine in the end, but you also need to practice common sense and not just rely on unfounded optimism that puts you at risk in a situation that becomes problematic, especially if you're dealing with someone who is foolish or immature or just, simply leading you on. You've got to find that middle balance this year between being so jaded you refuse to open to possibility and being on the other extreme where you're playing with fire due to poor judgment. So being cautious about a lack of perspective that causes you to be reckless in your decisions is important this year. This is particularly true if you find that you end up fooling yourself again about someone, or you find that you're going out of your way to impress the wrong person, or maybe try to save the wrong person. And now this isn't for all of you, but the depiction on this card is actually Juliet from Romeo and Juliet. And in that love story, the family disapproves of the relationship, and this prevents them from openly expressing their love for each other. So some of you may have difficulty in establishing your relationship because of external pressure or outside forces. It might be family, it could be society, it could be, any number of factors that makes it difficult for you to get this relationship off the ground, or it forces you to keep this love secret. although in your heart of hearts, you may feel that this is the person for you. And if so, you have to decide whether you're going to push back or try to overcome whatever obstacle. So overall, this is about following your dreams, letting love take you where it will, making fresh starts in a new or an existing relationship, or feeling the confidence to take a chance for a new experience that may in some cases require you to let go of the old, whether that's a connection, an attitude, or a style of relating. Now, your rapport with a new person or someone you're already involved with does seem to include the expectation to keep certain matters private. In some cases, maybe you choose not to disclose that you're committed or that you're in a relationship or married, or maybe there are aspects of the relationship that require discretion for some reason. It might simply be that you've just chosen to have a very private wedding ceremony. Despite the Fool card, there are some very traditional elements in your relationship, and the focus on privacy also stems from matters of trust or feeling vulnerable and wanting to feel emotionally protected. This might emphasize recognizing how important it is to spend time alone with your partner, or to get away from it all, or to close the door on the outside world and those distractions. Now, maybe you both feel comfortable confiding in one another, and either of you, maybe you sometimes serve as the counselor or guide for the other person's life, especially if you have strong trust with that person. On the other hand, if you're having difficulty in your relationship, this could be a year where you decide to get some counseling so that you can move past the negativity. Now, there's a strong karmic aspect to this connection, and you may feel as if you've known this person in another life. That immediate response when you meet someone or when you first met this person was one of strong, deep familiarity. And if you are facing any outside threats to the relationship, part of overcoming that challenge depends on the faith you have in yourself and your future together. It may be that, again, you're coming up against the conventional morality or philosophies of others, or you're dealing with parental opposition, or whatever it is. But something about this relationship might also cause you to question your own beliefs, your values, your principles, especially if you've had the habit of naively giving your trust and turning over control to a partner. As you probably know, on some level, you will always need to bear the ultimate responsibility for your own life. Now, the novelty of the Fool card might mean that either being in a very conventional marriage or commitment is new to you, or that being in a freer, more spiritual union with a soulmate feels new. If you're looking for a true love, if you're single and you're still out there seeking, it's possible that this is the year you meet someone who shares your same values. So any difficulties you encounter, they may be attributed to expectation, or more accurately, the lack of follow-through on expectation. You may have issues that center on doing the right thing, but what is the right thing exactly, and according to whom? Now, additionally, it could be a lot of false promises, maybe even seemingly benign ones. The innocent things like just never following through, the repeated failure to deliver, or sometimes reckless, even dangerous choices that tend to end up bringing some kind of intrigue or scandal into your life. Now, positively, you get to decide what form you want this relationship to take, whether it's traditional or it's a union of a new order. As far as love and affection, there is this push-pull energy between the safety of the familiar and the passion of risk. In the best of worlds, you manage to manifest both. But there is a strong desire to move on from a troubling past, either within your current relationship or moving on from a relationship. There are brighter days ahead for you, Sagittarius, but you're still navigating some turbulent waters to reach what you desire. In some cases, that might involve moving to a different environment or dealing with people who come from somewhere else. Or maybe you feel like you live somewhere lonely and isolating. Or maybe you even wish for greater peace and quiet for yourself or with a partner. That might include travel, possibly overseas. Alternatively, maybe you decide to move or you move in together if you've been dating for a while. For those who are single, it could be that an unanticipated meeting, a trip, or an invitation actually leads to a whirlwind relationship or even a possible proposal in marriage. If you've been together for a while, maybe you take a romantic vacation. So it's possible that an ongoing relationship will improve or a promising new one is formed. So you could be at a turning point where things change for the better. The Fool underscores that you're traveling uncharted territory. Now that could be literal or figurative, but you could be right on course to manifest greater fulfillment. On an inner level, you're also experiencing a deep transformation with the passing of an old order. So if your old belief system has been shaken, someone significant will teach you something new about love. Now, the chemistry between you is a little bit challenging, not because there's not that spark of attraction there, but it could be that you just feel blocked. Either there's a lack of confidence about moving forward, or you don't quite know how to move forward. So there could be, some sexual frustration here, or maybe you're disappointed that you don't have a partner, or the physical part of the relationship is not as satisfactory as you would like. So you may feel trapped, especially if you're alone, going in circles about what you need, what you desire, or it could be that, your partner is ill or absent, or you're just unhappy in the current relationship. But you have to look at, again, your own personal history, where you may be your worst enemy. Maybe there is this hang up about conservatism or being traditional, what's appropriate, what's acceptable, whether you're in the same social stratosphere and so on. And maybe that impacts the physical connection. Maybe you have the tendency to suppress your emotions, and so you experience some mental blockages. Maybe you're in a circumstance where you feel like your hands are tied. But I do feel that there is some kind of invitation, maybe a getaway somewhere, a nice hotel, or again, maybe you're going to travel overseas, or there's going to be an invitation to someone's space, their apartment, their house, their room, or whatever. And you will have to make that choice about whether you want to actually entertain that. Maybe you have been failing to see or acknowledge the overture, or vice versa. So you're going to have to assess your options, take a hard look at your situation, and then choose a course of action. So if you've boxed yourself in, if you've limited your own choices, if you've given up on your future, you really have to take the blinders off to understand that you are not helpless, that nothing's preventing you from leaving an oppressive situation except your lack of faith in the ability to get on with your own life, or you've been holding yourself back because of a lack of confidence or not really addressing certain emotions. Now, the values that you share with either a current partner or someone that you're going to meet has to do with the ability to make a good judgment call. Maybe, you're very good at knowing how to leverage your luck or your good fortune, a judgment about exploring possibilities that may include travel. Maybe you like to expand your mind in some way, or you have a common goal that you're sharing. So there's a judgment call here. You know how to revive situations if need be, or how to leave something for dead and walk away. Now, this could be a year where you're going through some kind of period of regeneration, or it may be a fortunate circumstance that something falls to the wayside. So you're going to be, again, this theme of releasing the past, starting over. And if that happens, if you happen to separate from someone, you probably won't be single for very long. It could be some serendipitous meeting that connects you with, again, an individual that you feel you've known in a previous life, a karmic bond that draws you and another person together. Some of you, as a result of your interaction, you are going to develop a deeper understanding of yourself. You're going to realize just what it is that ties you to another person, because you're going to see a relationship in a new light. You're going to reassess your past relationships and your present relationship, and you're going to become aware, perhaps for the very first time, that maybe your happiness doesn't depend on another person, that your happiness comes from within. And because you have grasped that concept, your interaction with a partner, paradoxically, actually becomes better. So both you and a partner may be able to see things more clearly than ever before. You have this gift now for viewing your relationship, viewing your partner, viewing situations from a higher perspective. And that clarity of perception helps you have a better understanding of yourself, your partner, and the realities of your life together. Now, where you experience area of conflict sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier about expectation. You may feel that support or concern or protection or responsibility or caring is lacking in some way. And, maybe you feel like at times your partner lacks sincerity, or maybe it's you. Maybe you're not being altogether truthful. And so the relationship, attaining that level of intimacy that you want, the level of trust and protection, that would lead to something physical and emotional, may be problematic. There can be a very intense desire, but it may depend on mood. And so sometimes your conversations that are meant to bring you closer may actually seem to be counterproductive. Maybe, the relationship, given what occurs, starts to feel complicated or unfulfilling. But it gets back to, either being too self-indulgent or feeling like the person is only looking out for themselves, or that they're just toying with emotions for some kind of gain for themselves. So either you may be displaying that or the other person. But again, an intensity is there. Maybe you want to improve the relationship, or you want to keep the status quo, or you're in defense mode. Whatever it is, you're not getting that level of intimacy. You realize that maybe you've been alone for too long, or maybe you care more deeply for somebody than you realize, and yet you can't seem to make that deep connection for whatever reason that may be. So that's communication, support, listening. Those are areas that are important. The value system, and whether you share some values, whether you share the same, maybe old-fashioned values, and I'm not saying that negatively. Maybe, certain things stand the test of time because they work. And, there's a saying about knowing the rules so you know how to break them. So some rules are there as a support mechanism. They're important. Or maybe there are some boundaries that need to be broken. particularly where emotions are concerned, especially if either of you are holding back or suppressing how you really feel. Here's your sneak peek for the year in love.